Hey there. Go ahead and grab a chair. A cold one, sit back, and relax. This is the Fireside Chatot.
So, this week's Fireside Chatot comes from Twitter, and it comes from the Twitter of Kratos. Did I say that right? Kratos Pogo, at Kratos Pogo. So the tweet was a picture of the additional add-ons for GoFest. Am I saying this right? Okay. It's GoFest, right?
For in-person
GoFest. And I think it was. Is this all the stuff from Berlin?
This is this is all Berlin related, but you can assume this is going to be the same for North America and Japan.
So, as we discussed in the in-game news, there was an additional fee for it. So, he writes, "Are you serious at Pokemon Go app? Why do ticket holders who already paid €25 for general access or 32 for early access have to pay an additional €20 if they want to hatch eggs faster and a bunch of other bonuses that should already be included with the general ticket?" And then follows up. Do you want me to go first or do you want to go first?
I'll let you.
I'm just going to read the very top of the picture that this man posted, or this person, them, he, they. Optional add-ons. Optional. Mm-hmm. If you go to a car dealership and you buy a base model car, you don't complain to the dealership that you didn't get the sunroof that the higher end one got. You have to pay for that. They are options.
Have you been to GoFest before?
No, but I'm looking at it.
This shit's included in GoFest.
But it's
every past in-person GoFest has had everything in this included.
But everything, I mean, I just read the stuff that's in
for
there.
Less money. Included for less money. So the inclusions, you can pay another €10 if you want to do a bunch of raids and get extra XP for the raids. And the one that probably pisses me off more, because one of the features of GoFest is the event eggs, and it's always been included. You pay extra for quarter hatch distance. No free incubators with that, just the distance. So now you have to pay for the distance reduction plus all the incubators you want.
But it hasn't.
That's a load of crap.
It hasn't been like that for the past 2 years, though.
Yes, it has. This year, the Global GoFest has quarter hatch distance.
Yeah, but they're not giving us I mean, occasionally they give us free stuff, but I mean.
But the quarter hatch distance it was part of the event.
But
why am I now paying for what was part of the event?
But this isn't. Okay, so this is the in-person GoFest. So
correct.
Technically
2017, 2018, 2019 has had that same benefit. But this is
additional GoFest. Like,
yes, that you're paying additional money for.
Original GoFest, like the actual GoFest, is what's happening in June. The in-person ones are an addition. So you're paying a ticket to get in. You're getting stuff. So you go to a concert, you pay for your concert ticket, you get the experience that everyone's getting of watching the band, listening to the music, all that stuff. But if you want to get backstage, you pay extra. If you want the VIP section with drinks included, you pay extra. If you want shirts, you pay extra. I paid $150 for Metallica tickets, and I didn't even get a freaking brochure for it.
Okay, but let's put it this way. Let's say Metallica, for the first 5 years of their touring, did autograph signings after every show. No additional charge. They were there doing autograph signings. Year 6 comes up and they say, we're going to raise the price of tickets. And oh, yeah, if you want actually to see us and talk to us, you have to pay an extra $50 on top of that.
I can't get mad, especially with the fact that everything in the world right now is going up. Like,
but what does it cost Niantic extra money to
mean-
let you hatch eggs faster?
well, you don't know what it's costing them to host this in game, like to host it. Like, you don't know what they're getting charged from the city or government for the park, the additional, you know, servers or whatever they have to put in the area for Wi-Fi.
Did they have to pay for those things at the first 3 GoFest? And if those first 3 GoFest tickets were cheaper,
Yep.
They were $14.99 or $19.99,
and you were getting everything.
Everything except for the raid portion. The raid portion I'm not nearly as upset about because that didn't exist at the other GoFest. Extra raiding was, they did not even allow raids at GoFest. But specifically that quarter hatch distance has always been at GoFest, because one of the things you get is you get your 2-kilometer eggs and you hatch them as quick as you can, because those actually have special event Pokemon in them.
So this information came out after they had already announced
Shortly after, but after.
all the original stuff. Okay. So again, I'm putting it in a perspective of this. GoFest is in June. This is an additional GoFest. So
that's a completely different
experience. So you can't,
that you're paying 25 euros for,
mm-hmm.
or 32 euros for.
Mm-hmm. And they're saying, okay, this is what you're getting for that. If you want the extra things, this is what you have to pay for. If you don't want the extra things, you don't have to pay for it. And if you don't want to come to an in-person one, you don't have to pay for it. You can buy your $14.99 ticket for the global event and get everything that's included in the global event.
Which isn't the same things included in this event.
Right.
If it was the same exact things included, I would agree with your
But we're not getting upset that you get extra. Why aren't we getting upset that we're not getting all this extra stuff because we don't want to go fly to Seattle or to Berlin for an in-person? They only put certain.
If I was able to time-wise to fly to one of these, I would absolutely. I would still be just as upset about having to pay for the extra portions of this, because these are things that are included typically as part of the standard GoFest experience, and even more so than the fact that they were not announced as part of the main announcement is bad. This is like, let me say, hey Astro, you just bought this concert ticket. Oh, by the way, you actually have to pay an extra $700 if you actually want in the venue. We're letting you know now that you've purchased the ticket already.
It's not, because you're in the venue already. That would be like.
But you can't have the full experience. You can come in the building, but you're not allowed to come in and actually see the stage.
No, you can
only listen to the music from
the
concourse.
You're getting the experience that they laid out, whatever, beforehand. Now
so why not lay out this portion of it at the same time?
So let me say this,
so I can make a informed opinion of what I'm purchasing.
Okay, so let's put it this way. If you were going to Berlin, okay, and you got there, and the day you got there, they said, hey, for the people who are here, for an extra X amount, you can buy this package.
That would be bad. that should be notified at the time of your originally purchasing.
That happens all the time in all kinds of events. I've gone to a Warp Tour.
We're not talking about
like
other
that.
events. We're talking about GoFest.
I understand, but this is not an uncommon practice for.
Does it make it okay that it's not uncommon?
No, but it doesn't make it.
Just because
it's okay to, call a company out for running business.
Yes, it does. You should absolutely call companies out for doing.
I think this is entitled
deceiving behavior.
I think it's entitlement, and it's a first world problem. And I think the fact that this person is calling them out for it is absolutely ridiculous. You're already getting stuff. If you want the extra, you're paying for it. That's life. That's world. That is business. I can give the same customer service to all of my customers, but the ones that pay me more and give me more jobs, damn right their stuff gets put up a little higher than everybody else's because they're the ones paying my bills.
Absolutely. But to advertise an event and then literally a few hours after people purchase tickets to start saying, oh yeah, but there's more. We didn't tell you everything up front. If you went to your customer and said, oh yes, here's your price to produce this product. And then a week later or 3 days later, you come back to your customer and said, oh, by the way, if you actually want me to get this done tomorrow, you're going to have to pay me an extra $3,000. Otherwise, it's going to take me 6 months.
It happens.
You would lose that business
all the time.
But you would also lose business.
If you bought an iPhone 12 and 2 weeks later the iPhone 13 comes out, are you going to get mad?
But Apple
didn't announce
that. They advertise that coming out. That is a known entity.
Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't get leaked, and then you buy your phone, and then it happens all the time. So you know this with technology. It happens all the time. You buy something, and then 2 weeks later, they announce the new version. It happened to me with my Switch. I bought the Switch a week, literally 2 weeks later, they announced the OLED. I can't get mad at Nintendo because
because you're getting a full featured Switch still.
It's the same.
You are not getting. No, you're not getting a full featured event. You're not.
You sure?
If you're not getting the quarter hatch distance, how are you getting a full featured event?
You're getting the same event that everyone else is getting. When you buy your ticket for the GoFest, you are getting the same everything that everyone there is getting. If you buy the GoFest ticket, it's like if you buy a video game, you get the same game that everyone else gets. If you want the additional downloadable content that comes after, you have an option to buy it.
Okay. Let's use your video game content here. I buy XYZ game. I then find out after I've purchased the game that the only way to unlock the characters that are actually playable in the game other than the base 2 is through microtransactions.
Happens all the time.
How many companies have been sued for that and have lost the class actions due to it?
Still happens.
Ask EA.
Yeah, I know. It happens all the time.
$1 billion class action
lawsuit.
Look
at the ridiculousness with the NBA, just NBA 2K. There's like 3 different editions.
And they've lost class action lawsuits due to it. And player base.
Yeah. But
am I saying it's the worst thing in the world? No. But am I saying this is something that shouldn't be called out and be pointed out that this was deceiving marketing? Absolutely it should be.
I don't know if... Okay, so let's put it this way. If they put this all out at the same time, this is how much the ticket is, and then the optional, you don't think this tweet would still be going out?
It may be, but guess what? I wouldn't care about it. I would say you knew that when you read the initial release. You knew this was the way it was going to be. You should have purchased your $24.99 ticket if you didn't want to go.
But it's the same thing. It's just you're just saying because it came a couple hours after, it makes a difference.
How many tickets did they sell in that couple hours? How much money did they make in that couple hours and how many of those people would have chosen not to go had they known this information at that time?
I mean, would you
more than one?
If this was in Lexington, Kentucky, and they gave everything to you up front,
I would have purchased everything.
Right. But
had I known afterwards, I probably would not be purchasing part of this because I've made a plan and a purchase based on the information that was given to me at the
But
time.
would you still go even if they did it the same way if it was in your backyard? You would still be
I would have
going.
already been locked in to go. I wouldn't have had a choice in the matter. Because I would have bought the ticket the second it was announced, before the information was given.
So
And that is the
you were
problem.
gonna buy the ticket regardless.
Mhm.
Regardless of what it is. It's still additional whether they told you at the same time or they told you 2 days later. It's still an additional thing to buy. So it's not like they're saying, "Oh man, we forgot all those people who just bought early tickets. You're going to have to pay a little more and then the people who are buying it now only have to pay this amount." You're still paying the exact same amount. The only difference is instead of them saying, "Hey, this is everything at once," they just staggered the announcement. So it's the same.
They staggered it to the point that their own content creators did not know this was coming. Trainer Tips has openly admitted that he was not given this piece of information to put into his initial video. That is deceiving marketing.
Okay, so my thing is now getting out of like all this stuff. Is this even a trend? Like right in Twitter? Like is everyone complaining about it? Because I don't see anything about it.
It was for a few days, and then regionals happened, and everyone moved on.
Yeah. Okay, so if this is not such a huge thing, I guess that people are not worrying about it. Like I get your point. Like I get your point that they shouldn't do that. And to be honest with you, I don't care like personally just because I'm not going. But if people that are going like care about this issue, they should be tweeting it out often. And then I feel like maybe because there's enough time. What is there, like 2 months? 2 months until this happens in July 1st, where they could maybe potentially change something or refund people. But
oh no, that's already in the terms of refunds or will not be given. Final purchase 100%. We don't care. That's always been GoFest purchasing.
With every like changes they've been doing, kind of like with like COVID, and then everything reverting back to it was people were complaining about something. So I feel like
what's the number one issue they always complain about?
I don't know, so many things.
Communication.
Okay.
Is this another communication failure?
That's something that should have. You mentioned that they didn't tell it to the people that they tell everything, I guess, to the content creators. But again, like to me, like I get why people are mad. Me personally, I'm not too mad just because I'm not going. If I were going, if I would be as upset, yeah. Would I probably purchase it just because I want to get the extra stuff? Probably. I mean, just because I'm just that addicted to the game. I like the game that much. But I do get it. Like I do get it. They should have told us. Like they should have said that in the beginning. That I understand. But again, at the same time, I don't really see a trend, and I don't feel like they're gonna do anything about it if no one's tweeting about it
No,
anymore.
and they're not going to, because and here's the thing: if you're going to go to Seattle or Japan, this is going to be the exact same portion, whether they announce it with that decision or not. And that's one of the reasons I specifically wanted to talk about this week. Is anyone else purchasing a ticket in the future should know this is the level that's coming here. This is the decisions that the company's making, and they're choosing to leave out details to add those in at a later date.
And tickets for July 22nd for Seattle, wherever they went,
they have
sale,
not
right?
went live, or no information has been given yet.
So if this is the case, and like you mentioned, if this is gonna be happening with the other ones, their sale drop is gonna lower a lot. If you're saying that people now that know about this, they're not gonna buy it for Seattle. That's what if you're not gonna buy it, I mean, other people won't buy it either.
They still may, but you will lose players. You won't. You'll still sell it out because it's that a popular event. It's that about the experience portion of it. But you will lose some players that was originally going to go. Will not go now. And new players will take their place.
If your original tickets,
yes.
So if you were one of these people going to this event in Berlin, if your original tickets were refundable, would you have refunded them? Would you?
Yes, actually,
you would have asked for a refund.
I would have asked
even
for a
though
refund
you're gonna
because
have to pay it anyway.
Deceptive marketing. I would have asked for a refund. But that's once again goes back to, I think Niantic should be held accountable for lack of communication.
I get it on a lot of things, and normally I'll follow you on a lot of things. I'll follow you, and we see eye to eye on a lot of things. I kind of feel like this one was like a clickbait. Like it just it I don't see any reason for somebody to get upset about this. I can understand if you feel like it was deceptive, but it's just like someone who's never been to Disney World buying a ticket and then walking in and finding out you have to pay another $40 if you want the fast pass.
But that's not doing that. That's simply on the user not doing research. The user in this case did not know it was even a thing because it wasn't announced. Not doing your own research is very different than the company not telling it. Straight up hiding the information until
But
a later
it's
time.
not. It doesn't change. Your ticket for GoFest is still the same price.
If you want the full experience for GoFest, your ticket's 50 euros now versus 20 or 32.
If you want the additional,
No, the full experience. Let's put it, that is a full experience. If you want everything that is offered for GoFest, that which would what is people would consider as a full experience, your ticket is now 52 versus 32 is what you thought it was going to be at the first of the day.
I don't see it that way. It's an addition. To me, it's an optional addition.
I mean, Dinho said it himself. He's going to buy it because he's addicted to the game. Does that make it an additional thing? No, that makes it. That is taking advantage of your player base that is addicted to the game. Because the people that are coming to these events are hardcore whales that want everything Niantic puts out. You're just simply taking advantage of your player base.
I mean,
and once again, going back to the core thing that the Heroes Niantic trend was lack of communication. This was poorly communicated, and you have to even admit yourself, this was poorly communicated. Can you admit to that?
A couple days, yeah. I mean, they could have put it. Whether they put it out 2 days later or whatever. If this was a box that they said the day of, oh, we're gonna put this box in the store for you to purchase if you want. Would you feel the same way?
If it was just the raid passes?
No, it was.
No, I don't care.
It was this box, because they've done this before with boxes.
They have never done half distance and extra XP as part of a box.
Right, but
those are the things. Locking those behind pays, that's the problem. Locking extra raid passes behind a paywall, they do that all the time. There's boxes galore. That's part of the game. Locking actual features as extra XP and additional or lower hatch distance behind pays, they've never locked that behind a paywall. This is something they've never locked behind the paywall now that they are locking behind the paywall. Do you see the point? Now do you see where it's a little more of a, okay, that is I get the feel bad portion of that?
I can understand for people who've gone to GoFests and understanding that, okay, we had it before, but now we don't. And now you're going to charge us extra. But...
Oh, and these features are only active in the park. If I walk outside of the geofence of the park and throw an egging incubator because I'm grabbing a bite of food, I don't get my quarter hash distance anymore, even though it's timed during the hours.
But I mean, if you leave GoFests, you don't get the same spawns on the outside as you on the inside.
Correct, but I'm just saying, just keep in mind, this is a geofenced paid add-on.
And is there re-entry at GoFest?
Yeah, you can come in and out. I mean, it's just a giant park. It's not like it's a gate.
It's not gated. Okay.
No. Well, it was the first year, but hasn't been since.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this is one of those we're going to agree to disagree on.
Yeah.
I think the way I think what rubbed me wrong is the way he kind of worded this tweet.
I don't agree with the way he tweeted.
Yeah, it makes him sound super entitled.
Oh yes, the tweet itself I don't like. What I am focusing on is what's actually in here, and locking new parts of events behind paywalls that are already paid events is just not good. It's not a good look. And then and the lack of communication on it at the same time as the event is announced
But we
is also bad.
can both agree that if they put all of this information out together, still made the same thing, everything that is behind the paywall is still behind the paywall, but they put it out at the same time, you would be okay with
That's
it.
better. I would not be okay with it, but I would be understanding.
You wouldn't be, as hurt by like the deception or whatever.
Correct. I would be understanding that at least I knew up front. I would still say putting hatch distance and XP behind a paywall on a paid event already is dirty.
What is aren't you getting already like certain like regular, what are the regular bonuses?
Yeah, they removed them for this event and no one kind of read into that at the time of the announcement because it's GoFest. They always announce additional stuff down the road, kind of thing, as far as extra bonuses.
Right, and
but not extra charges.
We also know Niantic is, as much as they can do shitty things, they always come back, and even if it's not a full Band-Aid, like they're gonna do something. Like, I would not surprise me if the day of, July 1st, that they don't give them free boxes with raid passes and something.
Because you're already getting some raid passes for free. I think you're getting 5. This ups you to 12.
Or they'll give you like a cheaper box, like that you can get this or something. I wouldn't be surprised if they do something to make it up.
So if it was just if it was honestly just extra raid passes and extra incubators behind the paywall, I think it's a perfect thing. That's a great add-on.
Because it's the
fact that it's actual features. XP and hatch distance is not something you get an item to create. And technically, I mean, you get a lucky egg, but you know what I mean.
So you're getting
it's the fact
quarter hatch distance. So I'm going to assume that hatch distance is going to be half.
It's half, and now you are getting. I think it's half. I don't think they've said actually if it's half or not. It's typically quarter for the events. Maybe they'll come back out later and say it's a half.
I think if they're going quarter for a paid, they're gonna do a hatch.
And it does specifically say it does not stack with other similar bonuses. So maybe that. And once again,
so it's giving you an option.
Because they have it next.
You don't know. That's what I'm saying. You don't know we don't know exactly what the bonuses are for your general paid ticket. Because it's not. I mean, I didn't see it unless Matthew didn't put it in the notes.
I didn't either. So would you say it is actually worse than if they come back in a month and say, oh, by the way, there's half hatch distance, and if you've already purchased that quarter hatch distance, tough luck, that's our money now.
No, because it's still an addition. It's still, if they're giving you half, but would you have purchased? You have to purchase it. I still would have purchased.
If you known you were going to get half, would you have purchased the quarter?
If I was someone who did eggs like that, yeah, which I am, I would.
Okay.
Just like I bet you.
And also keeping in mind, knowing all eggs are 2 kilometers.
I mean, at that point, it's like you're basically taking 5 steps and hatching an egg.
Exactly. So why would you? In my opinion, in that case, it would actually make that worse, because I would have been even less informed that I could have had a 0.5 kilometer egg, and I went ahead and paid to get a 0.25 when, like you said yourself, at that point,
unless
they're
doing bigger eggs.
No, they've already said it's 2 kilometer eggs. That was in the announcement.
But like the raid things, like the XPs.
And let's be honest, y'all don't purchase these anyways. The raids are Cresselia Darkrai. And the eggs suck.
Yeah.
That's the other part of this. I wouldn't purchase this because the what's being featured sucks, not because of the sleaziness in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, if you're
and at least they did say that. At least they did up front say what was going to be the featured Pokemon and the featured eggs. That part I give them credit for.
If it was like, we don't know what anything is going to be, and then I could be a little more on your side, but because we know we know at least what's going to be featured in it,
Mhm.
and I can look at this optional thing and say, man, that's not worth it to me.
Mhm.
You know, I can move on and
I-
I'd be okay.
I actually wanted to mention something because while you guys were discussing, I went through all the GoFests in the past, and anything from 2020 before, so from 2017 to 2020, I didn't see any half distance or anything like that until 2020, which is when COVID started.
I can tell you, 2019, I had quarter hatch distance.
Because I went to look, if you can look it up and search
Yeah.
it, because I went to look and I didn't see any of the benefits for that. I know that for after COVID, it made sense to do that because you had to stay in. So afterwards, it makes sense for them to take it away because we're good now.
I can say being at GoFest in 2019 and 2018, there was lower hatch distance because I hatched so many flippin' eggs because of it.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't see anywhere in the details of it.
Yeah.
So that's why I need to make sure if you can find that, because I know that people are definitely gonna make sure to message us about this chat.
Oh, they can.
yeah.
I'm happy to be wrong, but I do remember, at least it was, I think it may have been half, it may have not been quarter. But either so, it was lower hatch distance for eggs.
Okay.
But either way, like I said, the bigger thing here is once again holding them accountable for bad communication.
Okay. I can give you that. And we can agree on the fact that his tweet was
Oh, it was a garbage tweet.
super entitled. Like, man.
Now, I will say, I don't think in-person GoFest in Berlin's worth $50.
I don't think GoFest in general would be worth $50 even if it was in
Yeah.
Florida. I wouldn't pay
Yeah.
$50 for a GoFest.
So and that's the other part. You have to look at if $50.
We're also
I
looking.
don't think these add-ons are worth. Would you buy the add-ons?
No, I
Knowing
wouldn't
what's-
even bought the ticket. I couldn't justify $50 on a Pokemon ticket.
I'm saying 20. If it was the $25 ticket, if you got all this with it, would you go?
25, yeah. But I wouldn't buy. They could have given me the additions 2 days before they announced the actual ticket, and I still wouldn't buy the additions. Because I can't justify that much money. On top of having to pay for a hotel, pay for food, pay for lodging, all that additional stuff. No, not for a video game. But I mean, also I went to McDonald's and the 99-cent menu is now $1.25. So everything is going up. It's ridiculous the price.
But did they
increase.
charge you for a second patty now? If you want
Yeah.
Did you order a cheeseburger and they say it's actually extra if you want the
Yeah.
the burger?
Cheese is extra on a burger.
No, if you order a cheeseburger, it's not.
Well, they've already
But if you want extra
they've already
cheese, yeah.
baked the addition into the price. But if you get like if you go, I think Checkers, all their burgers are hamburgers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it's the Checker burger, you have to get the Checker burger, and if you want cheese, it's additional like 39 cents or something like that. If you want cheese.
I love Dinho sitting here like mom and dad are fighting. It's like just sitting and looking.
Everyone's gonna mention that too.
It is.
But no,
look,
I'll be frankly. I told Astro when I said this is a fiery Wildcats discussion point.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell him why. I purposely left the main thing that I was upset about a mystery, and I had no clue where Astro stood on this. So that's one of the reasons it was such a good fiery debate.
Yeah. But you, up until I disagreed with you on that, you were with me for like that first part when I said this is the most entitled tweet I've ever read.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Now, I will also say I did not know that this came out a day later.
No, I think it was like 4 or 5 hours later, but tickets, they'd already sold thousands of tickets by that point.
Yeah.
Even if it would have been days or hours, it doesn't matter the difference. It's the fact that it wasn't given to the people that were making the announcements for them. And it came out later after tickets had already been sold.
Yeah. I don't, just because we're running along, just the last point. If they came out tomorrow and said, "Hey, listen, we had we this was all supposed to come out in one blog, and the whoever PR people or whoever does the blogs messed up and didn't put it out, and we didn't notice it until X amount of time later, so we threw it out there." Would you retract your anger?
I would say I would still say they fucked
Well,
up.
yes.
That I would still be angry at the way it was handled, but I would be happy they owned up to their mistakes.
But you would no longer be angry about the fact that there's XP and half-hack distance behind a paywall.
I still wouldn't like it, but I would not be angry. Even like I said, I'm not angry about the fact that they're paywalling that. I think it's stupid that they're paywall that. It's bad. It's bad for the future of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But what I'm actually angry about is the way it was handled. And the fact that Niantic has said nothing about the way it was handled.
Yep.
Like the fact that your top 2 or 3 YouTubers put out videos about this and had none of this information in that video.
And that's what kind of makes me think like it was supposed to go out, and it didn't, because normally when stuff like this is coming, like those people in the inner circle or whatever you want to call it, they kind of know what's coming. They just can't say certain things, I'm sure, because of contracts or whatever. So the fact that like even they were caught off guard kind of makes me think that it was intended to all be there, and then they fucked up.
Yeah. And I'm actually looking at Go Stadium's like infographic, and they always are spot on. If there's something extra or something, they put a star. It's not even on their infographic.
Yeah.
I'm actually shocked they haven't put out a new one since then. But once again, because as Dinho said, the outcry hasn't been loud enough, no one's going to care.
Yeah.
But it is something that should be taken note of.
Agreed.
So we did.
Yep.
And spent 25 minutes on it.
Longer than that. All right, so I'm sorry, we're gonna be at 3 hours. We're probably at 3 hours. I don't know. My thing shut off, so
we're over 3 right now, but we had that little whole clapping thing at the front
Okay.
and silence. So we may be right at 3.5 today.
All right, let's do questions then. And just so everybody knows, me and Wildcat are not hating each other.
Oh no, not at all. I appreciated the opposing
glad
view.
you let us know.
I'll be frankly honest. I was hoping you would have the opposite view, so we actually had a good discussion. Because otherwise, it would have been
we
5 minutes and moving on.
Even if we agreed, I would have argued with you. I would have taken the opposite side. Come on, we're content creators.
On purpose.
We can't always agree on everything. Someone's got to disagree on something. Yeah,
that's true.
This is true. And we know it's not going to be Dinho.
Dinho's Switzerland and everything, man.
Hell yeah. I literally tried to play both fields.
And when he can't, he just goes. Just sits back.
Yep.
And this is that section's getting clipped for YouTube.
Oh yeah.
You know it is.
That's it.
So everyone's going to see Dinho just in everybody going, oh.
They should just let our voices talk
man.
and just have Dinho's face the whole time. Like no one else.
That would be amazing.
Thank you for listening to the Fireside Chatot, and until next time, good luck and get good.